All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the GG Hangout for Coffee Celebrations. Just wanted to celebrate a little bit of the things that we've done this year and share our lesson plans or our ideas with other teachers across Alberta and just celebrate each other. So I'm going to start it off with Janice Van Campen. Sorry, I'll present
Morning.
me here. There's Janice, and we'll let Janice take it off.
Okay, so this year, Kylie and I, we worked together on this project. We put together a student tech conference. So we had kids submit proposals from grade 4 to grade 9, and then they presented like they would at, say, a Google Summit to each other. It was pretty amazing. And we had 44 kids presenting, about 100 kids in attendance, and there were 16 presentations. So they worked in small groups, pairs up to probably about groups of 4, and they had a tech coach. Like at each of our schools, we have a teacher who's takes care of all the technology, helps integrate technology into the classrooms, but they're also teaching full time. So they helped the kids with these presentations, but they weren't there leading the presentation or anything. It was solely student centered. So I'm going to show you a little video. One of our videographers followed us around for the day and made some fantastic videos. So just going to show you a quick little one. Oh, just a minute, guys. Sorry. Okay, do you see my screen now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know if we hear him, Janice.
You can't hear it?
We can't hear it. You want to just explain what the kids are talking about?
Can you guys hear that?
No, we can't, Janice.
You can't. Okay. Um, well, then I will. Do you want me to just. Well, what it is, so they're just going and they're talking about all the different presentations that they liked, what their favorites were. I'm just going to stop presenting for a minute here. Sorry about the lack of audio there, but it is on the website. It's youthtechnation.com. Sorry, .org. So there's a video, just kind of an overview of what it was like. They've interviewed some of the presenters, some of the attendees, the things that they liked and what they didn't. And as a teacher, it was just so incredibly powerful just to see the kids step up and blow my expectations out of the water. You know, it was our first time doing it, didn't know how the presentations would go. You know, you've got little kids presenting on their own to other kids, and they were amazing. The questions that they could answer, their enthusiasm, and it was just one of those moments where we got out of the way and let them shine, and it was incredible. So if you have a minute, go to the website, check out the videos. They're a nice little highlight summary. They're only a couple minutes each. And we're hoping to make this an annual event. And all of the kids that have presented are excited to present again. And, you know, just building up those skills, those leadership skills, those presentation skills. And the kids that went, a lot of them were fantastic kids. But there were kids there who were really, they weren't your star students. Some of them struggled a lot in school. Some of them struggled socially. And I tell you, there were no issues, no behavior problems. They shone. It was a wonderful event. So I'm really looking forward to getting on that for next year.
So if there's a teacher looking to plan this in their district or in one of their schools, what would be your takeaway? What would your suggestions or recommendations be?
Having the organizing a conference for the first time, a lot more background work, just organizing. I think I let my timelines be too close to the due dates just because I wanted to give people time to prepare and give extra time on the other end, but then I had to chase a lot of people, and so then that really put me under the gun just to get all the information that I needed. So I think I need a little bit more of a buffer between my due dates and when I'm collecting things from other people.
Perfect. Thanks, Janice. Great work. We're going to move on to Emily Fitzpatrick, who's in Guelph. She comes out to Alberta a couple times a year to help present at Google Summits. So she was in Edmonton in March, and she's going to be in Calgary in August. So let's move it on to Emily.
Hey guys! So I'm going to share with you a cool math trick that we did this year. Let me just pull it up. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Wonderful. So what we did is in our math class, all the way from grade 9 through grade 12, our students get the opportunity to use Desmos, which is an online graphing application, to create artwork. Instead of doing it by hand and fighting with the nice curves of the line and making sure it looks nice, that a lot of our students struggle with, they get the opportunity to make their own different artwork using Desmos. And Desmos is a free graphing calculator. We're using that to replace the graphing calculators. And I'll show you some of the ones that are up on their website of the different math functions. So these are all done with functions, whether they're linear, straight lines, or they're trigonometric or quadratic. And it really gives our students a chance to bring in kind of the creative side into their math class. So our students get a chance to work on this either by themselves or together in a team, because you can go on the same Desmos graph and work on it together, and they create some really neat pictures, and then at the end of their project we send them into Desmos, and then we hope that at some point some of ours will appear up on the Desmos artwork one.
That was great. How would a teacher get started with Desmos?
So the best way that we did it was that we started using it for investigations. So we've taken it completely into our graphing software. So we don't use our graphing calculators anymore because our students get hung up with how to use the graphing calculator rather than like what's actually happening behind the scenes and with the functions. And then our students kind of run with it. So when we first brought it into the classroom, we had no idea how to do animations, like make the waves move in their water or change a color. And our students working together kind of took off, and they've started to make tutorials for the grade 9s and the grade 10s who may not have done this before.
Very cool. Does this link to your Google Drive? So is it saved in their Drive, or is it saved in like a Desmos account, or how does that work?
So you sign in on Desmos using your Google Apps for Education account, and then you can save it to your Drive and then share it that way. So we've also made worksheets all through Desmos. Instead of like graph this, it's more enter in your equation and tell us about the data.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
I know when I've had conversations, I'm not a math teacher, but when I have had conversations with math teachers, they're always concerned. We do our diploma exams, and they have a set type of calculator that students are allowed in grade 12. How is that working on Ontario right now?
So we only have a mandatory exam in grade 9, and then up through grade 10 through 12, they're allowed to kind of do what they want. For people who have that standardized test at the end of the year, at the end of their senior years, My suggestion is that they use Desmos then as a tool for checking. So instead of looking it up in the back of the book and it says, oh, it should be this point, and not really knowing why it's that answer, the students can then go and do the transformation or put the function in and zoom out, change your ranges, and really understand where that number's come from instead of just a number in the back of the book.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Emily. That was great.
Hey, you're welcome.
And we're going to move on to Kendall Johnson from Wolf Creek Public Schools. And Kendall, good morning, Kendall, is
Good morning.
going to tell us about something she did this year.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we were wanting to try and do in our classroom was to connect with some other classrooms around the country, and actually we ended up connecting with a class in Oak Park, Illinois, which is a subdivision of Chicago. So we were going to do some projects together. We did literature circles, we did an author study together, but we wanted our kids to get to know each other first because they were going to be working in buddies. So we did a getting to know you project. So what we did was we created a Google drawing where the kids would put pictures of themselves and work within the same document at the same time, asking and answering questions about each other so they could get to know each other. So can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I will just show you a sample of what we did here. Okay, can you see this?
Yep.
All right. So this is what the kids were given. It was just a blank template where they had to add their names, and you can see up here where it says Oak Park email address. My kids were given this, and then they were responsible for sharing it with their grade 2 buddy. So I had already pre-put in there the Oak Park students' email addresses here, and all the kids had to do was copy it and then send it off when they shared it. So then they each put in their picture and then had answered the questions. But before that, we had given them an exemplar. So this was really important to get the kids to, the quality that we wanted, and for them to be able to get going right away was we did a quick exemplar of it. So this is what we showed them, and then the kids sent off the blank one, and then this is what we got. So you can see the some of the projects here. Can you see those?
Yep.
Yeah. So the kids were super engaged. They learned a lot about each other right off the bat. They were comfortable with then sharing with each other and actually doing their own Google Hangout in pairs, talking to each other when we were doing our literature circles, talking about books that we had read together, and it was really, really valuable. Kylie, I don't know if we have time to show a video from Tim's class. Did you want to do that or not?
Yeah, feel free. Let's give it a shot.
Okay, and again, I don't know if the sound will come up on this. What I really like about this is Tim does a kid cam. So it's basically like a GoPro camera on what he chooses one student for every project. This is kind of slow right now, but then it really documents the whole process, and it shows a lot of what the kids are talking about as it's going on. So let's see if you can. I don't know if it's going to play.
It's always neat to see things from a kid's perspective. Just, it's so different.
It is, and I'm really going to be trying this out next year. It's interesting too because you get to see yourself as an instructor as well, and it's a really good tool for reflection as well. I don't think it's going to load. It's pretty slow here right now, but anyway, I can share this website out because it's super interesting, just to see the whole process from the kids' point of view as well.
Yeah, I think it'd be relevant to even put this onto the GEG page, put a link on there.
Yeah, sure. No, that sounds good. Thanks.
Well, looks like it might have loaded up.
Yeah, I don't know why
No,
it's not
maybe not.
having problems with videos today, but anyway, I'll stop sharing here.
Perfect. Couple questions for you, Kendall. How did you
Yep.
guys start this? How did you guys meet?
Well, just through our blogs, Tim was looking for grade 2 material for his own presentations that he was doing. He's presenting at ISTE this year and was just looking for some good grade 2 examples, and he just happened to stumble upon my blog and just had asked me some questions, and then he happened to be doing a dinosaur unit that we do, so I just asked him some questions and we just connected. So it was great. So really just looking at blogs and Twitter.
Perfect. I think another idea too, if teachers have, they can look at GEGs from across the world, North America. We know Emily's in Ontario, and you can reach out to other teachers that way as well and see if you can make a connection to work with other
Yeah.
teachers in other classes. How did your parents feel? What was their reaction after this?
They were just so blown away because they of course connected to their own experiences in education, and this is something that just wasn't done before. Like if you had pen pals, it was put it in the envelope, put the stamp on it, and send it away in the mail, and that process was so slow. It was still exciting, and then this is just so interactive. So even like we did an author study and brought the author in and got to do a hangout with the author, so the kids could actually be answering questions and getting them answered immediately. It was just powerful. So yeah,
I think all of these projects are really eye-opening for parents. I've heard a lot of
totally.
things from parents who just like, I didn't even know about this. I didn't know my kid knew about it, and I didn't know my kid knew enough that they could even present. And they're just, their eyes are wide open, and I think it lends for some really good conversations around the dinner table and some new connections.
Totally, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'll finish this off here. Sorry, I don't know. Am I presenting to everyone there?
No, I am. Sorry. There we go.
Yeah, so mine's going to start off a couple of years ago, or I guess last year. I had some students who really were into Minecraft, and they wanted to do a Minecraft class, and I had no idea what Minecraft was, and to be honest, I still don't really understand it. Um, but that's okay. I'm going to present too. I made a quick little um, slideshow template here, but if what happened was the students came up to me and they wanted to learn. So I, being the teacher and not knowing anything about it, I thought I would just do as much math with this as possible. As I told Emily earlier, I'm not a math teacher, but it just seemed like everything building in that world worked with math. So I went to our program of studies and I just grabbed as many concepts as I can. And if you want to take a look at my unit plan, it's there. It'll be in the bottom corner, or I'll post that up on the GEG after, or send me an email and we can work on it. So what happened was our school just went through a modernization and we had our blueprints, and it was still during the construction phase. So I said, well, why don't we build our school in Minecraft? So what we did is we went around to go measure the school, and what I realized early on is the students that were grade 7 didn't know how to use a measuring tape. Um, it was cute the way that they tried and the things that they tried, but it didn't work the way I thought it would. So there was a couple extra lessons in there just on how to measure and the units, and we learned how to make a blueprint. So the kids told me that the Minecraft block is a meter by meter cube. So I gave them all a graph paper, 1 centimeter graph paper. We sectioned off the school, and the kids went around and measured, and then drew their little blueprint, their template on the school, and they overlapped a little bit. So my idea was that you can see on the right on the green paper there is that as the kids made their blueprints, we should have been able to overlay the pictures so that we ended up building the school, which was not good. Building in that cubic meter world, we tried to do our rounding, but walls aren't a meter cube, so if you had extra walls, you were getting extra space, and it did not work. So Do not recommend that. Do not do that. What I ended up doing is that I opened up a spreadsheet in Google Sheets, and sorry, I'm just going to shrink it here. And I shared this with the class, and basically the way we did it was we went around, we measured the school, and the kids made their blueprint on this sheet. So the school was a scale. It was a perfect scale. So it was 1 meter equals 1 meter, one block equals 1 meter. But anytime there was a discrepancy, which there was a lot, the kids had to get together and figure out, which one was more accurate and why it was more accurate. So the way the kids did this, they made legends. So every X was a wall. They made their colors, and they knew what kind of blocks they wanted to use for each color. And basically, they just kind of built the template of the school. So that really took, to be honest, it was a 6-week course, and that took 4 weeks. We didn't even open Minecraft for the first couple weeks. But as you can see, this is our blueprint now overlaid with the first stages of our building. It made a pretty good, it was a great example to be able to overlay the blueprint over the world to see how our blocks were they accurate, were there things we needed to change. What I don't have on here as well is we also had the real blueprints of the school. So we had all 3 of these blown up like I had earlier here on the wall, and we're able to compare everything that way. It was really good. This is day 10 of building in Minecraft, so it still took a while for the kids to figure it out. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would. And then after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks I guess, we actually had the school without a roof on. On the left side there, it was still under renovation, so the kids couldn't measure it. So after that, we were exploring on what it would have looked like. And at the end, one of my reflections where the kids had to go around with their phones and take pictures of areas of the school and compare it to their areas that they had built. And then they went back in and made their adjustments and revised and saying, oh, well, we changed this, or we added a bookshelf, or we had to push out this wall. And that was basically it. So I don't know if anyone has any questions for me.
How many kids were involved in this group?
That's a good question. I had 28 kids, so I split them up into 14 groups of 2. And then there was a lot of overlap. So if one section of the school would have 3 groups, so every group had the same room, and then all the kids would get together and kind of start building around that room. I also used, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, how long did that project take from beginning to end?
I think 6 weeks, if I remember. It took a little while to just even get set up. But the first couple days the kids were upset that we weren't in Minecraft playing right away. But by the time they started building and playing and understanding the basis of it, we'd measure, and then we just dabble a little bit in there to see what it would look like, and then we'd go and do our math concepts. And in my program of studies, if you take a look, I was able to tie in almost every concept that was in the math grade 7 curriculum, just with this one unit. And I did use Minecraft EDU, which is, it was a little bit of a cost to it, but not knowing anything about the program, I was able to set it up, I was able to create the world, and then I was in control of it a little bit, so I was able to give the kids the ability to just build or create, or if a little kid was misbehaving, I could freeze them, pause them, move them to another world, or take away all the privileges, or just stop them. So it gave me a little bit more control like that, and that took 90% of the kids policed themselves, but then that took a lot of the classroom management out of it as well. It was a pretty good investment.
What, from the kids' point of view, what did they? Because I mean, this is brand new. They had different expectations going in, and then by the end, what was the general sentiment of this project?
They were pretty excited about it. I was surprised at what not teaching them as their options teacher, not knowing what they didn't know at that level. I just assumed that knew about the perimeters, the areas, the maps. But then once we started getting into circles in that cubic world, it was a lot more difficult than I anticipated. But the kids were able to just, at the end, they were building a lot more and a lot more creative stuff than I would have given credit for. And they were able to tie in the math curriculum, which I thought would be a little bit harder and a little bit more teacher directed. But just those conversations, and especially that reflection, when we brought in the math concepts back into that reflection, was really, really good.
For you, would you change it if you had to do it again? What would you change, tweak?
I think I would make sure I understood the program a little bit more, and just so, and that would be more for the classroom management more than it was about anything else. Just so when a kid was talking about how another kid was spawning pigs or whatever they do, I had no idea what that was. So. So we're gonna post this up. Thanks. Sorry, any other questions?
Well, I have lots, but I'll probably talk to you later.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Once we post this up, we'll put our Twitter handles out, our emails out as well. Feel free to contact any of us, or even with Kendall earlier on, find out what she did or how she made those connections, and we're more than willing to help everyone out. So thanks for listening. Thanks for enjoying your Saturday morning coffee with us, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys. Thanks.
It was nice to meet you, Emily.
Bye, guys. Nice to meet you guys, too.
See you.
Bye.